add that the example that, hi, Felix.
Can you start recording, please? We can't.
Just did. Sorry for being late.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to be a very hard dictator this time because we really get derailed really easily, and I'm not going to let that happen this time. If you have another example of a way that would be different in talking about something else, that is an item you can propose that we discuss. So the fact that there is another argument that Noah's numbers are X is a different kind of argument means you should put that as another thing. Yes, that should be discussed, and we can choose which one we want to handle first. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. It does. I'm just asking, what does relevance mean in your head? Because in some cases I could introduce another example, and some I couldn't. So I'm just asking, what's your informal idea of relevance?
And also, what's the reason for modeling it? I think the so that could also partially solve this discussion. If the use case would be written to include a so that, it might also remove some disambiguity.
There's no so that. So that is, yeah, so that is process, it's user wants and so on. This is modeling some arguments, and we have an argument right here that's an example. And the question is, how would we model that given its structure? Okay, I see.
Then you just sidestep the whole discussion of why a model is needed or not. Okay, fair enough. If that's the approach I'm going to follow, but then I'm going to these discussions are going to keep rising. That's all I'm predicting.
Right, it's going to come out actually in the modeling part of this, which is, actually it's so that, why are you modeling it that way? I'm modeling it that way so that, I think relevance is distinct from truth or something.
Okay,
I agree with that.
Let's do relevance, because I think there's at least one definition of relevance on which we agree, and let's see if we have it in our model. I think we don't have it yet.
We don't.
Though, yes, we do. We do, actually. Because support is a kind of claim. So the supporting itself can be supported. And so the relevant support can be supported.
That is correct, yes.
That is a duplicate I was pointing out, just to clarify. And that's the whole reason we separated support from claim and why support extends from claim. That's what we did many weeks ago.
True.
Right, but
we don't have a position here.
A redundant entry that is already in the model takes less time to do than to go over the details of whether or not it's redundant, in my opinion, from my experience.
Yeah, but the discussion seems to be right now whether it is the same or not. I mean, for me, it's fine. For me, it's completed.
I'm happy to say this is completed. I'm just having now doubts that 10 is completed because we don't really have a position in our model.
10 is completed in that opposition of anything is actually support of the negation.
Which there were some shortcomings with that I think Felix mentioned, and I commented on extensively. The way it's modeled right now, you cannot think I always traverse, and I was looking in Hangouts what I wrote there, because right now, for life of me, I forgot. But yeah, we did say indeed that opposition is supporting the negation. So
no, I don't think that supporting the negation is the same as negating the support. They're distinct. You can say this does not support, it doesn't mean that it supports a negation.
Yes, correct.
Okay, let's create an example for that one.
Yep.
And then
that is absolutely relevant.
Well, move it, not for that one. I mean, okay, if you want to put it in there and then move it away from completed to proposed, I guess you could put it there. That's fine. We've reopened this one. Go ahead and paste it there.
Yeah. So I would say, no, okay. or some other organizations.
You have an example there that I counted. Yeah, another one that says, like, in my observation. So you could refute the my observation by saying, you do not have any.
Yeah, good point.
Go ahead and paste what you had there.
Okay, sorry, I'm being. The number of hurricanes has been rising.
And then number one, instead of Nora's hurricane count, is you say, in my, yeah, I saw, yeah, exactly. And then 3 would be,
sorry. Your observation is
like, to go against, because that right there is you're attacking.
You're right.
The
which
truth,
is
right.
You're right.
It would
right,
be
right.
like, essentially the 3 would be who the hell are you, right?
And insufficient.
Yeah.
No, but
it would be, we have no reason to trust your observations.
no, it could even be accurate here. I'm not attacking the proof.
There you go.
You observed that, it's fine. But
That's good.
I think this is better than saying who the hell are you and you're wrong. I mean, that's personalizing and
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good example.
Yeah.
So insufficient as proof.
Mark this as proposed or in progress if we all want to discuss this one.
Cool. Should I put this one as completed?
Did we all agree that it's included in the model? Let's see the model again. So according to this model, and this gets into Stephen's, what is the so that of this? What is the point of supporting or opposing, right? And in this case, we haven't defined it yet. All we're saying is you've made a relationship that is in support of without assigning meaning to it. And given that, yes, given that support is a type of claim, then supporting a support is included in this model. Do people agree with that?
Supporting a support is, yes. Support is a form of relevance, absolutely.
Okay.
And anybody disagrees or is unsure?
Can you restate the claim again?
Okay.
So this is the one that the number of hurricanes has been rising between 2019 and 2020 is a conclusion. NOAA's hurricane count for 2019 is 100, and for 2020 it's 200, supports that the number has been rising. And then the one we're focusing on here, NOAA is the official weather organization for the USA, supports NOAA's hurricane count, supports too, right? So it's supporting the support. Mm-hmm. This is indeed included in the model or handled by the model.
Yep.
How is relevance in the model right now, by the way? Did you talk about that earlier?
It will be supporting the support.
Is okay. Relevance. That's
okay.
Yeah. Which I'm happy.
There's no other features or numbers or attributes associated with the support. It's just a fact, essentially.
Yeah.
For now,
okay.
It works for what we have.
And now the problem is if we go from support to opposition, we don't really have a way to do opposition.
Okay, so now we have this, but the third one, instead it's an I saw hurricanes, supporting that the number's been rising. And then we have a claim, your observation is geographically limited and insufficient as proof, and that is applied to oppose the other support. So the question is this supported by the model? Is this handled by the model?
The idea here is that you would support the negation of that support, basically, right?
Right. And that any claim has a negation associated with it at all times. There is no such thing as a claim without at least a default negation.
Okay.
That is indeed what is implied.
I just want to make first, I don't think we can even do basic oppositions here, because we can have the opposition, the negation of a support, but is the negation support? I think it's a misnaming of support, right? Support should have an orientation Boolean or something, but or a subclass or a variant class. I don't know how to do it, but what I'm saying is the negation between two support is hard to interpret because they're both supposed to be supporting according to the name. That's first thing. Like, let's not even go into the higher level of relevant, irrelevant. Just at the basic level, we cannot handle a position here. And the second aspect is that opposing a support is not the same as supporting the opposition. And that's a distinction I think is important. That's a second order claim.
No,
but let's tackle the first.
I would argue the opposite. Let's forget about support. Like I seem to remember we all agreed at some point in the past, agreed to some degree, that if you oppose a claim, you simply support its negation. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Because it's the same case and it's inheritance. So the same.
No, but this is difference. Yeah.
No,
except that is different. I get what he's saying here, which is what is wait. It's a structural thing of how do you construct a negation of a claim you construct automatically. Let's say this is just one approach to doing this. Somebody creates a claim and the system's going to automatically create a negation for that claim, right? So what would it do? It would create a copy of the claim and could append the word is false to the sentence, right? Does everybody agree that would be a way to automatically create a negation for a claim? Okay, now you have a support. Somebody creates a support claim, right? How do you automatically create a negation for a support? You don't just
not support
copy
is what
it.
I do.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
okay, but wait, yeah, exactly. So what you would have to do is a different automated construction, which is you create a copy, but the claim supporting, the copy would reference the claim supporting, but would have to change its reference to claim supported to being the negation rather than the original. Does that make sense?
I'll put it another way. The negation is not the same as the as the contrary. Like does not support is not the same as oppose. Fails to support. It's like saying, A is not greater than B doesn't mean that A is smaller than B. It could be equal.
That is correct.
That is true, but why is it relevant? Why are you mentioning that microphone?
No, he's correct. It's because what he's saying is that my automated construction fails, because if you create a negation by being supporting the negation, you're actually creating an argument to refute the main claim as opposed to something that's totally irrelevant. Does that make sense? Let me put it in concrete terms. The negation of who are you? You're not any official weather organization. So your opinion does not support Or let's say,
I think I can be clearer, sorry, but.
go ahead, go give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah. Saying A supports B, the negation is A does not support B. It's not the same as saying that A opposes B. It's just opposition is not the same as lack of support. It's that simple.
Yeah, but why are you saying this? Because that's not what we were discussing.
It is what we were discussing. We were saying we were saying the negation of the support of a support. The opposing a support is not the same as supporting the opposition.
Okay, so you have if you're automatically making a negation of a support, you are going to keep the same references, but your claim is going to be does not support, right? And in that sense, this model does work. This model does handle opposition of a support. Because you make a support to the negation of the support. Yes.
Let me make it a bit formal, because if I say A entails B and C is supports the relevance of A support. So A supports B, C is relevant to A supports B. If I say not see the previous, and let me parenthesize that as well. What I'm saying is that is not the same as C entails that not supports B. Those are different claims. The 4 and line 4 and line 5 are different claims. This is C is irrelevant. Like no, C shows that A is irrelevant to B, and here say C shows that oh, sorry, it is false that
C opposes that A implies B.
Yeah, which is the problem. Actually, this is not where I want. This is really where I want. But that's it. That's not a negation. That's that's really the point. Saying C does not. Okay. I'm being clearer. This is saying it's not true that. Or no, sorry,
That's right. No, it's not true that C support.
C.
Okay.
C opposes. Let's call this C opposes. C opposes A supports B means that it's not true that A supports B, whereas the other one is C supports that A opposes B, which is totally different. But that's not negation. I need different symbols for negation.
It is, but what's the problem? Because indeed, like in this case, you would have one instance of support being A supports B, and the negation of that is A does not support B.
Yes.
And it would be a separate instance. You then support it. So this is exactly what's there.
What I'm saying is there's right now, all we have is negation. We don't have the negation of support is not the position. So we need a way to model a position. There's no way to model a position.
I think you're thrown off by the fact that it's called support more than anything. I think we need to rename that thing support, which originally was called argument or something like that.
Yes.
Because that's your main problem here.
No, but we still need two things. We need the relationship between argument, and I agree with you, it's thrown off by the name, and I did point that out. There's a relationship between the support and its opposition and its negation versus the relationship between the support and the opposition, which are two distinct things. The support, the negation of the support and the opposition are two distinct things. So we need two relations for that.
But no, Marc-Antoine, that's already handled.
No, it isn't. Okay,
I,
show me
I-
how.
yes. So
You need an instance diagram, I think, to make it clear.
Yeah, exactly.
Another-
We exactly need an instant
Let me-
diagram that would
let me
solve the
please
problem.
try. So we have the possibility to oppose by supporting the negation, right? In this model, in general. Okay,
Okay, yes, yes.
everybody agrees?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
A support in itself is a claim. So just by that, we also have the
Okay,
possibility
you're right.
to oppose the support because we can support the negation of the support.
Yeah.
So it's in the model already.
Good point.
Correct.
Except that it's a misnomer. I think we're all agreed there. But
Yes.
we're finding it hard to come up with a better name.
Well, it was argument.
Well, how is it a misnomer? How is it a
That
misnomer?
the fact that, yeah,
No, yeah, it's true because we're supporting the negation, so it's always a support. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
the main
Okay,
problem here, by the way, which I did dig up, which is unrelated, but it has to do with the generate sentence method you added, and it has more to do with the fact where do you store. I wrote it in Hangouts. It's like a message from months ago. Where do you store that something is the negation of something else? Right now, it's only a relation between two claims. But
Yeah.
if you don't know something is the relation of something else, your generate sentence method will never be able to be implemented. That's the argument I made there. The point being that you need to store the state that something is a negation of something else in this model. Otherwise, this model is broken.
Yeah, every claim must have at least one negation.
And you need to know which one is the original claim, which one is a negation.
I
That's
see.
my point.
Yeah, well, but so if the sentence is optional for like if
One
you
of
auto
them
create
has to have a sentence, basically.
one of them has to have a sentence, and that one would then be the claim, right? In other words, the algorithm would be, I don't have a sentence. Oh, I'd better go find a negation of mine. Well, first I would look for an equivalence. I don't have any equivalence. I'll go look for a negation. It's required that at least one negation has a sentence, and I will then append is false to that sentence. So in other words, there must be at least one sentence within a graph or a cluster of equivalent and negated claims.
And here, the model of an equivalence class makes sense, but that's a sole modeling concern. As you said, like the stuff is handled by the model, but it's not nice.
Right. Okay. So are we done with number 10?
16, yes. 10, yes.
Well,
right.
we're done with
10,
16.
10, 10, 10,
Yeah,
sorry,
okay.
10.
Okay.
My mistake.
I think there's going to be
yes.
other trivial identical cases here. Maybe we should just knock them out quick. I don't know. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
No, thank you. I think that's right. It still bothers. No, it doesn't. Yeah, okay. Reducing a position to support of the opposite. Interesting.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. I agree.
I think the proposed distinctions that I put forth, distinguishing between relevance and truth, I think the truth examples may be redundant and exactly redundant. So maybe that's a light load to knock out, just make sure it's represented somewhere else in the model and then removing.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Easy win in the next 15 minutes.
I as a parentheses, I hope we don't go down now. We will go down when I come up with examples for this. But this model that we have here is very powerful, and it's going to be even more powerful and useful when we talk about mutually exclusive claims. But we'll get there. If we change the model and don't keep this, I think that might end up being an argument to go back to this, but we'll see.
Yeah,
All right, let's go at the.
my problem with the model, just for the record, is that there should be multiple supporting claims, but that's
Multiple
another
supporting claims that requires an example, and then we can put it in.
The A and B together support C, right? Let's see whether what's an example. Well,
Yeah, put it in.
Yeah. Let's.
Well, go ahead and we can write one out if you want right now.
That's probably, I guess we model it similarly to mutual exclusiveness at some point.
Two claims may support.
Oh, yeah. My main problem, and I'm convinced this is wrong, is the generate sentence method. Again, I'll rephrase. Right now, how the member sentence and generate sentence is shown in this model is plain wrong. That does not work.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's. I hope we change it at some point. Right now, it's probably sufficient, but like it's not elegant in any way.
No, but it represents an error in how negation is modeled. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sure I understand.
If you create a support, which you said you can create without specifying a sentence, and you create a negation automatically for that support, how do you know which support is the support and which one is it does not support? You don't know. A support instance can be created without an instance, is what was decided. So how do you know whether that support instance is support or does not support?
Without a sentence, you mean? So the support in our example is created without a sentence. The sentence is like NOAA is the US official organization, right? That's the support claim. Actually, that's not the support claim. That is the claim supporting, because that is a true false statement. NOAA is the official blah, blah, blah. And there's a claim, that's a support claim that's created. And the support claim you create without a sentence.
Exactly.
And so the system generates automatically NOAA is blah, 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 supports.
Yeah, and that's what the generate sentence there does, right? So
Yes.
how are you going to implement the generate sentence? How do you know that the generate sentence method should report supports or does not support?
I'll put it another way, because now I understand what he's saying.
Wait.
No, let me rephrase what Stephen is saying.
Yeah.
We'll auto-create the support. Then we'll auto-create the negation of the support with a different sentence, right? And a negation link between them. There is nothing in the model that allows us to know which one is the support and which one is the anti-support without interpreting the sentence.
Exactly. As I wrote in Hangouts, the negation is encoded only in the sentence.
And that's a problem.
Thus, the generate sentence method does not work.
Yep, good point. Good point, Stephen. Good catch.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, my assumption here is you only create supports. Because it's otherwise it's that weird preemptive type of thing that you're trying to do. Why would you make an argument like I am stupid does not support we should go out to lunch? Why would I make that argument, right?
No,
I would rather.
Well, it needs to be there because that's the only way to oppose relevance.
No.
But I would instead create. No, but I would instead create. I am stupid supports we should go out to lunch.
We should do that.
And then put, yeah, and then, argue in opposition to that, right?
Yeah, but to argue in opposition, you need to support the negation.
Exactly, but the negation is created. The negation is created.
And
but you don't.
You say how do you distinguish a negation from
exactly? That's the whole question. You don't.
Once you have created a negation, it's in this case indistinguishable from the other one. It's a perfectly real problem.
I see what you're saying. Okay, because now you have two and there's no flag on a claim that says it is the
Yes.
negation.
And
get
having
it.
implemented this
get
the
it.
way I've done it, I know that one is the original and one is a negation, and that's how it all works. If you don't have the information, you can't do such a thing as generate sentence and
Point.
other things.
Valid point.
Okay.
Yep, makes sense.
Well, I think we can pause to try to solve that here with the model
Absolutely.
because our model isn't finished.
Well, for me, the way that's what I can say. The way I did that is by storing whether or not something is a negation on the claim itself. Well, no, I grouped two claims within one new entity, right? But if you want to do with claim-to-claim relations, I think the only way around it is to storing. Yeah, the negation state needs to be stored somewhere elsewhere than in the sentence, basically, in this model.
I mean, it only needs to be stored on a support.
Yeah, you could say that's where the main problem arises, I guess, yes. But
That would be sufficient, I think. Yeah. Is this how I would do it? I don't know, but
it's a bit icky because I mean, for me, it's a reason to bundle a claim and its negation in one new entity. To be fair, that solves it for me. But I'm open to hearing alternatives.
Right, it solves it. Then the alternative model is that support needs a flag that says support or oppose, right?
no,
Yeah.
support or fails to support.
No, support or oppose.
No, that's different.
Because when
we
you
said
create,
the position was the support of the negation.
no, but
we need to have a way to have fail to support. It needs to be expressible, and fails to support is the case we need to model. And that's why the flag should allow that, because the position we said we would do a position by supports a negation, which I'm now totally on board with.
yeah, but fails to support
Yep.
is opposing a support. That's what fails to support is. It's a support.
Yep.
No, it's supporting.
It's the negation of the support.
It's supporting the negation of a support.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No,
That way,
no. It's yes, okay. It's supporting the negation of the
I think it's
support,
correct.
but you
Yes.
merge them into one thing. Yeah.
But we don't need that extra layer in this case for a change. Because it's not necessarily supported by anything. I'm just saying here, there's this supports this, no, it doesn't. And I'm not arguing with it with anything. I'm just saying this does not support this. It's a separate claim in itself, sui generis, nothing to justify it. I can claim this, I can claim it. I can claim the opposite. I can claim this supports, I can claim this does not support.
Yeah, but it's the negation.
Oh wait, but
support.
no, we don't have the negation anymore, right? Where the exercise we're doing is what if we merge the negation and the claim into one thing? Right?
Well, that's
The
what I'm
claim-
suggesting because that's how I
Right.
solved it and it works for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But
it can be
then
done at the support level. But then we're speaking about negation, not contrary, like opposition.
no. But what I'm saying is that what changes when you do that is that support changes its name to argument.
Yes. And then you have
And you're supporting which is the supported arrow. Either it has a flag on it, which is supported or opposed.
oppose. Yes, that's
No.
what I do.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
It's well, I mean, yes, I mean, you could do that, but we still have if you do that, we still have the problem of modeling failure to support or failure to oppose.
But that's where I'm saying no, because failure to oppose is contained within the support.
Exactly.
And
No, They're
You-
For me,
distinct.
okay,
An
That's
I
why
would
argument-
every
quickly
whole
summarize. So
conversation, failure
it's
to
contained
support
in it.
is not the same as opposing. Failure to oppose is not
I
the
didn't
same
say
as
opposing.
supporting.
No. Listen to me. Listen to me. Right? If you're making an argument to support a claim, you create a support with a support relationship. If you're making an argument to oppose the claim, you make a support with a relationship of oppose, correct?
You could do that.
Okay. Now, if you are supporting a support, you create another support with a relationship of support to the support. Now, if you want to say that support does not support, you create a support with a relationship of opposing the support. And
Okay.
that's it. You are saying that support does not support.
No. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Now, listen to me. What
Okay.
you're doing is adding a layer, and I'm saying in this case we shouldn't have to add a layer. Maybe we don't have an argument against the support. Maybe we don't have a non-relevance argument yet. We just want to express the failure of support independently, without an argument. The same way we express the support, we can express the failure of support.
But
And
it's
that's
the
something I want to
negation.
model.
But isn't it
The-
the negation? Because support in let's call it
Exactly.
argument for now, right? It inherits from claim, so it also has a negation encompassed. So
Yes.
if you create a support, you automatically also create a negation, which
And
does
then
not
your
support, which is the one
argument
you're asking for.
applies, Stephen. Your argument about we can't distinguish the argument from its negation without looking at the sentence. This is exactly where it applies. It's between the support and the lack of support. It's not between support and oppose. It's between support and lack of support that this argument applies. That this argument of yours apply.
That's not true. I think the problem here is that this discussion is on the level of how users will create and view, right? The model lets you create the does not support by simply creating the support. Whenever you create the support, it automatically creates the does not support.
Yes, and how do you distinguish them?
Well, so what I do
Because
is
it's, yeah.
No,
I
but
simply
in this model, not in Stephen's model. I know how
Okay.
Stephen does it.
But we were
because
discussing about having both the claim and the negation side by side at some point, right? And then you just know which one is a claim and which one is a negation. That's how
Yeah.
you model.
That's a
good
different
model.
model, and we should do it.
in
I think. I agree.
Yeah, in his, there is no does not support relation in this model. There is no does not support.
Right.
What
so
there
this model
is-
does not allow.
No,
this-
it does, because when you create a support with a relationship of support,
Yeah.
inherent in that support is a quote unquote negation, which is does not support.
Yeah, and then you cannot distinguish the support
You
from
can,
its
because
negation.
in this model, always the thing you create is the thing, and the thing that's embedded in it is the negation. You don't
Yes.
need a flag.
I think
It
we're talking
is
about the same
implicit in
thing.
there.
I think we are
Yeah.
talking about the same thing. It would make sense to try to represent it in a model or in instances or in because to me it sounds the same.
Tim, when you say embedded, where is embedded in this model? There's no embedding. I still don't see how you distinguish the support from lack of support. One is created automatically as a negation, and I don't know how to distinguish them without looking at the sentence. Stephen's
What
argument.
is the functionality of does not support?
Oh, you could say this is not something I want to express. That's fair enough. I think it's worth expressing because
So it's the one thing I just removed. I mean, I support it in my model. I have it modeled, but it's the one thing that I removed from the user interface because it caused more confusion than not. I only show supports, because otherwise you have like supports does not support and stuff like that. You have double negations, which doesn't really benefit anyone. But the modeling stays the same, the modeling underneath, FYI.
And you know what, I'm beginning to buy, and there you're right. I mean, my point stands, but is modeling lack of support necessary outside of an argument against the relevance, outside of a relevance argument? That's a good question.
The main reason I still needed it was to express agreement with. if you want to say, I do not believe that this, I believe that it does not support, how do you do that? And right now in my current UX, you need to say, I disagree that it supports. So that's different than saying, I believe that it does not support. That's the only real UX thing where I felt like it might be more natural to say. But regardless, to come back to the where is it embedded? It's embedded by the fact that the first, when the support gets created, you have the first instance that gets created is the normal form, and then the one that gets generated is the negation.
Which is, but we can't
Does not
distinguish
support.
them in this model. I think the conclusion I'm getting, and I can live with it, is this model does not support modeling lack of support independently of a relevance argument, which is
That is
fine.
correct.
That is fine, but I'm saying this is not supported by this model. So I think we're agreeing and we can live with it. I can live with it. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, the other option would be to have an explicit negation flag, which is problematic in the sense that you also have claims that then have a negation relationship, right? If somebody creates separately a claim,
Yep.
and you say this is a negation of the other, and then that negation is a primary claim, and its negation has the negation flag.
You don't want to do it.
It gets very confusing in the model.
You want to model something in one way and one way only. You don't want to model it and do it two separate ways unless it's something separate. So either you model negation as a relation between two claims, or you model it as a group of a claim and its negation. Like I wouldn't do both. That's what's the difference between them.
Okay, but then, by the way, that means we do need the oppose flag. I'm realizing, because if we don't have materialized does not support, we cannot do a position, because we said we would do a position through negation of the conclusion.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
That's why if you group them, you need an opposed support flag, and that's exactly what I do.
Which I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, and this was my hint, is that I'm not happy with it because of things I see in the future, like mutually exclusive. But we'll discuss that in detail when we get there. I'm okay with leaving the model one way or another, and then revising it again.
As soon as it's isomorphic, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Now the supporting is not a good name anymore. Can I go back to premise conclusion?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate here. Source target or whatever, but something along those lines.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh yeah, I need the I need plant UML active.
And then remove the generate sentence as well.
Does that follow?
It would be only applied to, well, I think it's too much detail, to be honest, at this point. I would say you're going to need a sentence and a negated sentence, and the negated sentence can be null. The main sentence needs to be always specified.
Yeah.
And the question is, what does that mean for inheritance of the arguments? And that's why it gets icky. So we're actually saying that there's only get sentence, and there's no such thing as a sentence member, I think, on the main claim. Otherwise it breaks. And then claim would be instantiated with at least a sentence. I don't think we can.
Okay. Do we still agree that it's possible to create a claim without a base sentence? Because why did we introduce that? Let's try to recall. It's because sometimes we don't have a negation or support to start with. We generate it. Now, it's possible that we could have the generation be external and prior to the negation creation, which I think is reasonable. And I could make that kind of generate negation sentence class method, for example.
I think the reason that the other reason was that argument or support needed sentence to be optional. And since it inherits, we had the parent have it be optional.
But
was
I
kind of-
I can do exactly the same thing. I can have in argument, I could have a class method, static generate argument sentence with claim premise, claim conclusion, Boolean support.
Right, that's at that point it's an instance method, right? But okay.
No, it's a class. No, it's a class method because you would generate it before creating the instance. That's the point. If you're saying, Stephen, that what I'm proposing is, if you're saying you have to have a sentence before creating the claim, then we have a factory method that we apply before we, like, in a way, this is a factory method.
It's, I think the thing is that an argument doesn't need a sentence. Expect that, because if you want to ever do multilingual thing, etc., would you just sentence and store the sentence supports or does not support in the model if it can be generated at runtime, right? What
I
this is
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Fair enough.
That's one. Another point is that argument right now, how do you the negation in the conclusion?
Say that again.
Like
support or oppose. Oh, you have supports. Okay.
I have the Boolean now.
yeah, the Boolean
Yeah.
supports, but you also need another Boolean to know whether or not the negation of the premise is used or the premise itself.
Correct. Correct.
What?
If I say that
Ooh,
man is responsible, humans are responsible for global warming, right? And
Right.
and I want to use that to say, we should stop doing coal or whatever. But what if you wanted to say, no, humans are not responsible for global warming, therefore we should do whatever we want.
Then we take the
Then what you're
negation,
doing-
which has its own
right.
sentence.
But where is the negation in argument here? Because we don't have negation anymore as a flag or something.
Yeah, we
No,
didn't
no.
model it
It's
yet.
No, but
embedded.
we're taking the negated claim. We're
Right,
not
but where are you taking negate? Where's the
The-
reference to a negated claim?
the premise. The premise here, instead of pointing to the claim, points to the claim's negation.
It's no
Fine.
longer a separate
like-
instance.
Tim's talking about the model when you have the claim and the
Yeah.
negation in the same.
Okay, no,
Fine.
that's Stephen's model. No, so let's have a separate version with
Okay,
Stephen's
now we have
model.
a hybrid of the two, which is also, I need to parse this because indeed I thought we were moving the claim and negation in one entity, which we don't have yet. So now we have a hybrid of the two. Does
Right.
this work, Marc-Antoine?
I think this works, but I think they're two. I think this does work actually, but I think let's not confuse your model with Tim's, and let's have two
No,
separate.
but they come
No,
hand in hand.
mine's,
And the
I
reason-
was, yeah.
the reason we were going to my model was because exactly it solves all the negation issues. And even though it
Is
might
that
have problems indeed with mutual exclusion and other stuff, but that's why we're trying to migrate to that model. But now we're like in a midway thing, and I haven't thought this through. Can you have both claim and claim negation relations as well as arguments that have support and opposing flags? I need to
Oh,
run my mental compiler to see what happens then.
no, yeah, I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't.
So, but that means we need a sentence and a negated sentence of some sort in claim right now, because
yeah. Well,
I-
let's do your model because it's.
Why can't we just have an optional sentence and like live with it that a claim may not have a sentence, and then live
Yeah,
with the negation
yeah.
relation?
Okay,
I think that's what I do. I don't remember, but I think that's what I do.
okay. So
No,
let's-
I don't think so, Stephen. I said like having, don't store them both in the same class, but have them separate again, each with their optional sentence,
Oh,
and have the negation relation. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's Tim's model or Tim's augmented model. This is exactly what we
It's
have
the
here.
previous
Yeah.
model, yeah. No, yeah, but this here, my model doesn't have the Boolean supports. My model would we're calling it my model. It's not my original model, but it's what we had before.
You need a Boolean is negation claim, I think, for that the other model to work.
Exactly. Supports doesn't need a Boolean supports. There's only support.
Yeah.
What it needs is negation. Only on the support object or class.
I'm convinced that it feels a bit weird, but that might be true.
Yeah, another way to handle it would be like an originator relationship. If you're creating two different claims every time you create a claim, you're creating a claim and its negation, then you could have a relationship to the originator, an optional flag or an optional reference. I don't know.
Like a directed negation edge, basically.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the negation, yeah, that would be an originate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably would be the cleanest solution for the formal model. And I really have no preference. I can only say what I did.
So is that, Stephen, is that close to your model?
I don't have a Boolean negated flagging claim. I just have a.
Oh, no, of course not. Sorry.
Negation.
You just have positive sentence, negation sentence.
My positive sentence is not nullable. Oh no, it probably is because, yeah, I have to check that. It probably is because it's not needed for argument indeed.
Yeah.
But I think I enforce it at runtime for what I call atomic claims. I don't generate negation sentences on the base claim. I only generate, oh no, that's not true. Generate negation sentence is there, you're right.
Get sentence,
sentence
that's
is
just an
gone.
accessor, forget
Yeah.
that.
Argument, claim, premise,
But
yeah, and then there's
now
a
you need-
opposer
now you-
support and uses negation for the premise. I have two Booleans in argument.
Yeah, clearly. Boolean negated premise.
Yes, and then a Boolean for supports or opposes, which is actually more of an enum, but yeah. I think that's what I have.
It is, but the Boolean, the supports is the same as negated conclusion, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I would have to open it. But yes, exactly.
Let me write it this way. I think it's clearer.
Yeah, fair enough. And then it implies that the base relation is supports, right? Otherwise, it's not clear.
Yes, and then yeah, that can be support. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very similar to what I have right now.
Okay, and do you have, you don't have multi-premise, do you have, so that means you also have separately conjunction, right?
Well, now we're leaping ahead here, right?
True.
Yeah, we are. I think we need to choose, is this something we want to pursue, or do we want to keep pursuing the negation relation, and then probably something akin to what Felix was suggesting with the directed negation?
I am more in favor of the negation relation because, like I said, it's
Anticipated
thinking ahead
future.
of design.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask you, Stephen, do you have the equivalent to relation?
No, I don't have equivalence yet. But the way I envisioned expanding on this model was simply to have a set of sentences that are all equivalent.
Right.
So I would have positive sentences. Well, I would probably have objects of a sentence that I have as both each time. Probably instead of string, it would be a phrase, basically. Yeah, something along those lines. But that's not high on my priority list. Although I do agree some support for that needs to be modeled, but
this is not true anymore. Okay, this is simpler in the face of it in some ways. Okay, Tim, what is your, why do you want a negation relation? As I said.
Well, we have to get there through examples. It has to do with like mutually exclusive claims and the complexities that come with supporting and opposing
Fair enough.
groupings like that.
Mutual and overlap and the symmetric difference and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's even further down the line. But yeah.
By the way, for the model with the support with the two flags, isn't it easier to just have two different relations?
It's not easier to draw. The weird thing is you need to require
because you have all four
one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It seems more readable. Yeah, it seems human readable, but yeah. All right. So we're 15 minutes over time. I guess we could call it quiz for now and then move on to the trivial ones that Jamie was pointing out.
Well, I think maybe not now, but I think we should also put on the backlog for next meeting to fix the negation in the other model. So now that there's mine, which in my opinion, well, an experience because it's operational, it works for negation, but the other one we also need to fix for.
I think we could do that quickly. Right now, I'm up for doing it quickly now since this is on our minds.
And then I'll do a mental evaluation of it after.
Yeah.
Does it need fixing?
I mean, it's already
does
directional.
So what got changed now to fix it so far?
It's just not many to many, right? It should be 1 to 1.
Yeah, there was a mistake there, I think.
No, it's because of the equivalence relation, remember?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We need it to be also bidirectional because of that. And so like I would fix it by having essentially an optional originator relationship where like when you create a claim, you're always creating a negation. If that's the situation, then
I fail to see what you gain by making it bidirectional. Okay, no, I see. It has to be navigatable in both directions, but if you keep it directional, precisely, you have the notion of originator.
It mixes concepts. It mixes the concepts.
That's fair enough. Okay, I can buy that argument.
I mean, the other option would be to, in support, have the flag that is does not support or whatever.
By the way, you realize that I should reintroduce my version, right? Because these are all
with the equivalence class, right? Yeah, I also thought about saying that. Another question I had, like,
we haven't.
This model doesn't have the equivalence relation, right?
It does. It's embedded in the sentences. The fact all sentences within one claim are equivalent. That's how you model it. You don't model it as a relation. You model it as a set of sentences that are modeled as equivalent.
Okay, so it's not just a single sentence, but it's a collection of sentences. And
yeah.
Okay, so this also needs.
Yeah, that wouldn't support debates over are these equivalent, but that is something we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, and that's what I call process.
Yeah.
Because you want to model equivalence. That's so, but okay, we don't have to go into that now.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah.
That is a big conversation.
but the thing is then like that's why the equivalence class isn't in here yet. Is we haven't explored the complexities of equivalence classes at this point.
Yes, so we can address it once we pick up that use case.
Yeah.
What do you think about continuing tomorrow with this process? So we make progress.
I think it's your decision.
I think we should do that.
I think I have to.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Then see you tomorrow, everyone.
Hi guys.
See you tomorrow.
See
Thanks
you
all. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.